What's the most valuable lesson that you've learned through your entrepreneurial teaching journey? So as an entrepreneur now, what's the most important thing you've learned?
I can't wait till I get to the day where I can only do the things that I like to do, and I can offload and pay someone else to do all the stuff that I don't want to do. And I think it's the number one thing I've learned, and mainly in my being on Scott's team. So Scott Shepard in our community, I'm part of his team, and I have seen how the sausage is made, so to speak, meaning that there's a lot of fun and all the stuff you get to do. And I know you know this because you've run multiple businesses, right? And no one really wants to talk about, oh, I've got to balance my books. I've got to deal with an insurance question. I've got to do documentation after every one of my coaching calls, right? To capture both next actions, but also log the call. And it's the I would say if you're working for the man, and you're like, I'm going to go be an entrepreneur because I don't like all this BS clerical stuff that I got to do and all this rules that they put around me. Well, guess what? Those things you're running from yourself, because those things will follow you. Maybe you'll be able to get outside of that and hire someone, but until you become profitable, those things will always be with you. And so Dan Collins gave me the book, The E-Myth, which just talks about how if you're a baker, as an example, and all you want to do is bake bread, well, guess what? You got a lot more to do than just baking bread every day. You got to be good at that, plus a lot of other things. And so the biggest thing I've learned, my takeaway for the person is focus on all those other things. And you have to be going back to telling yourself the truth. Do I want to do what it takes? Do I want to do what it takes to get over to the other side? And basically you're here and you're like, this is entrepreneur land where I'm making money that I'm comfortable with and paying it. And I've got to swim across this chasm. And it's like, you start leaving, most of us leave, and then we get afraid and we go back to our safe spot and we leave and we're like, oh man, it's just like, oh, this other person, I'm jealousy, essentially, like, I wish I could be like them. Well, you could be. You've got to swim. You've got to make the journey. And that journey is hard, but it will forge you into a new person, and you'll learn lessons along the way. And you got to believe, and you've got to get to the other side. That would be the lesson I would say.